Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with the start of another weekly reading vlog. Today is Monday. It is February the 6th. Happy Monday, everybody. No update yesterday. I didn't start the vlog yesterday. That's kind of typical. Sundays are either lazy days or, what have you. Yesterday I actually was working. I did my typical shift yesterday. But I'm off on Friday, so I'm happy about that. So as I jokingly said to my husband this morning, today is Tuesday for me. Monday was yesterday. So yeah, going into the office today, clearly. I get to work from home tomorrow. I'm in the office Wednesday and Thursday. And then, like I said, Friday, long weekend. Can't wait. So, welcome to the vlog. For those of you who might be new here, I try and do these I do these vlogs every week. Whether I remember to record every day is a completely different story. However, they are still fun, at least I think so. I try and get a little bit of B-roll stuff. Mostly it's of the cats. But in case you don't care about the everyday stuff and you're only here for the book reviews, like for whatever books I happen to finish during the week, timestamps in the description box below if you care to jump ahead to just hear my reviews for the books that I finished this week. So, I finished a book yesterday, so I'm going to share that with you guys this morning. Share with you, I can talk, I haven't had a coffee yet this morning. Share with you what I am currently reading, and then I do have a little bit of a book haul from Saturday. So yeah, I thought I'd show you guys that as well. So, first of all, book review. So yesterday I finished reading Kansas City Cop by Julie Miller. I will pop the cover up here. This was part of an anthology. Do I have it in front of me? I do. Part of this anthology. Maybe here because of the picture probably over there. So I do plan on reading the second book in this, actually after the book I'm reading now. But I did read the first book, and again, as I said, Kansas City Cop by Julie Miller. This is the 33rd and last book in the Precinct series that Julie Miller does. So it kind of focuses around one precinct in Kansas City, Missouri. 33 stories. This one I liked okay. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was not one of my favorites. I haven't read any of the others in this series, to be completely honest, but I have read Julie Miller before. But this one, I'm not too sure what it was about it that I didn't love, but I found there were parts of it where it was just kind of blah. You know what I mean? I think it was the romance that kind of, I just found a little off-putting for this one. Not off-putting in a bad way. I gave it 3.5 stars. So the plot of the story is about our main character named Gina. And Gina is a cop. And she lives in kind of a really rough neighborhood with her younger brother and sister and her elderly great aunt and uncle. They took her and her siblings in when their mother died. Their father was, took off. So it's not the greatest of neighborhoods in Kansas City. She's trying to make the SWAT team so she can make more money, so she can move them out to the suburbs where it's a little bit nicer. Her sister, who's still in high school, is kind of running with a really bad crowd. So the beginning of the book, Gina ends up getting shot in the shoulder. And she then kind of, because of that, loses the ability to use her hand to hold a gun. So she's kind of not able to really do her job. So she starts to do occupational therapy training and with a guy by the name of Mike. And Mike is the son of her captain. And the relationship is between her and this guy, Mike, who is a therapist. So they're also trying to find out, of course, who shot her and her partner. And there's been a couple of other police officers shot, not killed, but shot. So there's kind of a lot going on. But like I said, the story itself was interesting. I did kind of figure out who the shooter was. I was partially right. I was close, but I didn't exactly get it. And as my dad always used to say, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. But I was close to figure, and I was like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. But outside of that, the romance itself, I think what it was is that I found it a bit unprofessional. Like, she was shot and at the beginning. So Mike is actually the one who came across the scene. He was out jogging in the neighborhood, and when the shooting happened in front of this house, he happened to be going by, so he was helping her. And she's shot, bleeding to death in the front yard of this house, thinking sexy thoughts about this guy. Like, okay, for one there, I was kind of like, maybe not the most appropriate time. And then later on, when they're doing training and stuff together, I just felt like he was a little inappropriate with her. you know, clearly she liked him and he liked her, but there's a time and a place. Does that make sense? So, like, he's teaching, like, he's showing her how to, like, shoot again to hold the weapon. So, you know, her hands are still, like, her hand is still, like, you know, not the most, it doesn't have a lot of strength in it. And he's kissing the top of her head, like, oh, you can do this and stuff like that. It just seemed weird. It's just, it's not appropriate. Like, you're at her place of employment. You know what I mean? Like, she's trying to get back to work. That's not, take her out on a date if you want to do those kind of things. So I think that's what kind of, like, turned me off of this one. But I mean, it was a good story. I liked Julie Miller. She can tell a good story. You know, like I said, I thought I had figured it out, but I was wrong. Pleasantly surprised, actually, at that part of it. But for a romance novel, the romance is what fell flat in this one for me. So, what am I currently reading? I am currently reading Rags to Riches, Sweet Valley High, number 16. I didn't double check, see what number it was. Number 16. So this is what I am currently reading. I grabbed it from Kindle Unlimited. In this one, I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I am actually going to finish it today. I am already 20% of the way through it, and I read it for like 20 minutes last night. So I will finish this one today. That's my game plan. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. I will talk about it tomorrow when I sit down and talk with you lovely people. And last but not least, book haul from the other day. So Garrett and I went to Walmart on Saturday, and we usually go to the one like east of where we live. And there's one, like, they're the same distance. We have a Walmart literally the same distance east to west of us. And I said to Garrett, can we go to the other one because they have a better book selection? He's like, sure, Walmart's Walmart. We just tend to always go to the one to the east of us just because there's like a Tim Hortons right there and it's kind of one-stop shopping. But anyway, off we went to the other Walmart. I was super happy, and they are the only Walmart that I am familiar with in the area who sells their Harlequin books 3 for $15. Which doesn't sound like a good, but it is a good deal, because what I tend to do when I go there is I don't just buy the single titles. I tend to buy the duologies, like the 2-in-1 books, which retail for $8.99. So I got one for free, essentially. So, you know, $9 each. 9 times 9 is 18, and I got them for 15 bucks. So I got 6 books for $15. I'll call that a win. So they had all these love-inspired suspense bind-ups, duologies. So these are the ones that I got. So I got Edge of the Storm by Heather Woodhaven and Tanya Stone. The wolf on the front. This is Wilderness Sabotage by Heather Woodhaven and Vanished in the Mountains by Tanya Stone. So my goal is now, and I you know, just talked about this book, the first book in this duology. I have a lot of these. So my goal is to, every other week, pick one of these and read both stories in it. So I thought that would be fun. And again, as I said the other day in another video, these books are a fun way to kind of build your collection without having to grab each one individually. So I got this one. And then I also got Dangerous Mountain Escape by Jennifer Brown and Victoria Austin. Gorgeous cover on that one. Peril at the Peak by Jennifer Brown and Rocky Mountain Showdown by Victoria Austin. So these are all love-inspired suspense novels, so they're faith-based romances, Christian romantic suspense. And we got Ambush in Alaska. No shock there if it says Alaska in the title. I am pretty much bound to pick it up. This is by Darlene L. Turner and Margaret Daly. So we have Abducted in Alaska by Darlene L. Turner and Guarding the Witness by Margaret Daly. So like I said, 6 books, $15. I'll call that a win. So I will get to these at some point. Some point in the future. I have a lot of these on my shelf. And, you know, I need to start reading through them. But I thought, like, to pick a story one book every other week, in a year, that will get me through, like, 25 of these or 26 of them. Which is, you know, that's not bad. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling, you guys. I gotta go have a coffee and get ready for my day. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Hi friends, happy Tuesday. Today is what day is it today? Today is the 7th. It's the 7th of February. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Look at me doing 2 clips in a row. Isn't this exciting? So I was actually sitting down here anyway, because I literally just filmed 3 other videos. So I filmed a video that's going up today on Tuesday, one that's going to go up on Friday, and one that's going to go up on Saturday. So yay, super productive this morning. I am working from home today, which is why I have the time to do this. I was going to do it on Sunday, but then I remembered, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working Sunday. Gosh darn it. So I'm working from home today. So I had the time this morning Usually I would be leaving right about now to head into the office, but I now have the time to actually do some editing as well, which is great. So yay on that. But yeah, so it's Tuesday/Wednesday for me because again, I worked Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I have 3 more days until I'm off on Friday and I cannot wait. And I am super looking forward to the weekend now, you guys. I was looking forward to it before, but it really kind of hit me last night. So what I haven't shared with you guys is that you may or may not have seen it if you follow any of these ladies on BookTube as well. Krista from Books and Jams, Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library, Amanda from The Curly Reader, and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand. They host these virtual reading retreats, and I did the one back in the summer or fall, and I saw Krista's announcement for it, and I was going to go in and participate again, and I thought, you know what? They cap it at like 50-ish people, and I thought, let's let somebody else do it, because I already got to do it, so let me let somebody else do it. So I backed away, and I didn't think about it again. And then about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Krista actually reached out to me on Voxer, and she's like, hey, we wanted to know if you would be willing to kind of help out with this retreat in a way. So what it is that they do these kind of breakout sessions. And the one that I did when I did it back in the summer or fall, the 2 breakout sessions, one was like talking about thriller books and the other one was talking about historical fiction books. So they had like guest speakers, people who were like very knowledgeable in those type of books. Sorry, the cat's trying to get out. Sorry about that. When the cats are around, nothing is peaceful. They do not like a closed door. Anyone who has a cat knows they don't like a closed door. So anyway, for the breakout sessions for this retreat, they're doing one on, you know, behind the scenes on BookTube, what it's like being a booktuber, how do you make time for it, blah, blah, blah. And the other one is on romance novels. So Krista reached out to me and she's like, hey, do you want to help us with this one for romance novels? I'm like, yes, please. So it's actually going to be myself and Melissa from Library and Labradors, which is great because Melissa and I, while we both read a lot of romance, we read vastly different types of romance. Like Melissa is the queen of historical, whereas I love my contemporary. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good historical as well, but I'm definitely more the contemporary queen. So, and category as well. I can talk at length about that. So because I am participating in that, I get to join the retreat for free. Yay! So from Friday night at 8:30 until Saturday night at 8:30 p.m., 24 hours, it's a reading retreat. So, which to some of you might sound a little like interesting. At first when I did it, I was like, how is this going to work? But I really enjoyed it. I met so many new people, and essentially like it's, you know, the 4 ladies, they kind of host everything. And they have a lot of reading sprints and they have these breakout sessions where you have discussions. And the last time they did the breakout sessions at the same time. So you could either go to the historical or to the thriller one. Whereas this time they're splitting them up. So you could go to both, which is kind of great. Everything is done on Zoom because it's all virtual. And I'm super, super excited. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys that I'm doing that this weekend. But I'm really going to try and make like a 48-hour reading weekend for myself. So like, when I finish work, you know, on Thursday, it starts my long weekend. So I thought from maybe like 8:30 at night on Thursday until 8:30 at night on Saturday when the retreat finishes, I'm going to see how much I can read. I'm going to keep track and just see how much I can read. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then we'll start fresh again on Sunday. But yeah, so let's talk about some books. I did finish another book yesterday, you guys. I finished Rags to Riches by Kate Williams, it's Francine, Pascal, Sweet Valley High book number 16? I think it's number 16. So in this one, Roger Barrett, he's a character that you met in previous books. His mother passes away in the book before. And he then finds out that he is the nephew of Henry Patman, who is Bruce Patman's father. And Bruce Patman is the richest boy in school. For those of you who didn't read Sweet Valley High, it's kind of the way it goes. For those of you who read Sweet Valley High, you're all familiar with who Bruce Patman is and his black Porsche. And that's not a euphemism. He literally drove a black Porsche that had the license plate 1 Bruce 1. So anyway, he is the nephew of, so now he's been moved into, because he's got no other family. His father was the brother to Henry Patman, who also passed away way, I think before Roger was even born. Now his mother died of a heart attack, and, you know, so he's essentially an orphan. So the family takes him in. And they're not, I mean, his uncle is nice to him, but his aunt and Bruce are kind of jerky to him. So the whole book is him trying to fit in. And the other thing is, too, is that Jessica has set her sights on him now because he comes from money. And, you know, Jessica is vain and shallow and blah, 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 blah. So, of course, that's the situation. And Roger has a girlfriend. Jessica doesn't much care, right? So what Jessica wants, Jessica wants. So, anyway, that's kind of the plot of the story. I gave this book 3 stars. My biggest issue with this book was the fact that his mother died weeks earlier. It's barely acknowledged. It's his grieving for his mother was nothing. It was almost non-existent. The biggest plot to this story was, oh my God, how am I going to fit in now that I'm a rich kid? Like, seriously? Anyway, it was a thing. Didn't particularly love it. I mean, they're fun to read, and I keep saying this for all the books. They're literally just fun books to pick up and read. I finished this one in less than a day. It was great. So the one that I'm currently reading right now is Armed Response by Janie Crouch, which is the second book in this bind-up volume here. So I am 1 chapter into it. I have that much more to go. I read the first book in this bind-up, Kansas City Cop, last week. It's the one that I just reviewed at the beginning of this vlog. So now I'm actually picking up the second one. Totally unintentional. I didn't know I was going to read them back-to-back. Essentially back-to-back with the Sweet Valley in between. But I spin a wheel for the next book, and that's the one that was picked. So yeah, 1 chapter in so far. Not sure about this one. It is the 5th book in a series, and already in the first chapter, it sounds like there's kind of like a lot going on with the backstory and like other things that have happened in previous books. So yeah, the thing is with a lot of the intrigue and romantic suspense books is that sometimes you get this overarching plot. And by putting just 1 book in this bind-up and it not even being the first book in the series is going to be kind of weird for that to know what's going on. But whatever, I'm going to continue reading it and we will see what I think about it. So anyway, guys, that's all that I have for today. I will check in tomorrow. Bye, friends. Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday. Today is the 8th of February, and it is just before 4 p.m. I am home. I worked from home yesterday, and then today I did go into the office this morning, left on my lunch break, came home. So I have about 5 minutes to sit down here with you guys and give you a quick update. So I am using my selfie stick, so nothing is like, that's why this is probably going to be not so... not so stable, let's put it that way. But I just wanted to give you guys a very quick reading update to let you know that I actually DNF'd Armed Response by Janie Crouch yesterday. I wasn't enjoying it. So like I said, I did work from home yesterday. So I had time, like I had like an hour before, you know, my usual drive time, right? I got that because I didn't have to do the drive. And then I had like the free hour, like my lunch break. And I didn't touch this at all. Like, I just did not, I had no interest in picking it up. So it is part of a much longer series. I originally said I think it was book 5, but it's actually book 11 in the Omega Sector series or something like that. The first, like, 4 books she wrote not for the intrigue line, but, like, I think I don't know if she indie published them or not, but I might go all the way back to the beginning and try the first book and see what I think about it. It might be the case where maybe picking up this series partway through may not have been the best idea. So anyway, I ended up DNFing this one yesterday, but as you guys know, unless a book totally offends me, it's not a hard DNF. It's a, this book isn't for me right now. And instead, last night before bed, I picked up Forbidden Until Their Snowbound Night by Melanie Milburne, which is a presents novel. I'm reading this on my Kindle, of course. And this one is a... what do I want to, like, it's the trope of, like, an isolation area, and brother's best friend, no, yeah, brother's best friend. This plays into the trope that is big in the presents novels where she's a virgin, which she's 30. I mean, I'm not, you know, slating anybody, but can we get over that at this point, please? Like, it still seems to be a big thing I find in the presents novels, and I'm kind of, I don't know why, but I'm kind of over it. You see it a lot, especially in older romances too. And I'm not a huge fan. But anyway, it is what it is. So I'm only a chapter into this one, but so far I'm enjoying it, and I will update you guys tomorrow. So anyway, guys, that's it. Talk to you then. Bye. Hi, Hi friends, happy Saturday. Today is the 11th of February and I am here with a update. Haven't talked to you guys I think since Wednesday. Thursday was my early day in at work, so I didn't get a chance to record anything then. And then yesterday I was off, but I had a bunch of running around to do during the day, so I did that. And then I came home and I actually had a really nice 2-hour-long nap. Clearly I need it. So anyway, I do have a reading update for you guys because I have finished a book since the last time I talked to you. I finished it on a Wednesday, and that was Forbidden Until Their Snowbound Night. I believe that's the title, by Melanie Milburne. This is a Harlequin Presents novel. It's a new release as of February. It's it was the Harlequin new release for this week. The cover of it will be up here. I gave this book 4 stars. I did like it. At first I was a little like, oh, this is a very typical Presents novel where our female lead is not only a virgin, but she's never been kissed, and she's 30. Now I'm not knocking that if you know, anyone else is in that, you know, I get it. That is, you know, it's just she had this long list of the things that she wanted in a partner, and you know, it was very lofty goals, if you will. So the whole plot of this story is about our main character named, I think it's Erin, but it's A-E-R-I-N, and she has these friends from school, and every year they get together in this really nice place in Scotland, and they, you know, hi, how are you doing? They visit for a while. And this is going to be the last time that they're all going to be together because one of the girls is actually moving to Australia with her husband. So, of course, Erin is the only one who's single and who has been single the whole time. And they're kind of starting, she feels like they're not looking down on her, but like, you know, what's going on? What's taking you so long? You don't even have a boyfriend kind of an idea. So she kind of enlists Drake, who is her brother's best friend, to pretend to be her beau for the weekend. And they end up deciding to go and stay in this cabin for a night because there is an attraction between them. And she's like, hey, maybe you can just be my fling for the weekend. And, you know, you don't necessarily have to check all the boxes that I have for this list of the perfect guy, but blah, blah, blah. And, you know, one thing leads to another. And yeah, it was a fun book. I mean, again, I gave it 4 stars. There is a bit of a dark backstory in terms of Drake, and I think that's what kind of pushed it from being like all right, this was an okay Presents novel, 3 stars, to being like more of a 4-star read because of it. Although I did feel like Erin pushed him just a little bit with some of the things, but he did kind of really tell her a lot more than he'd ever told anybody else. So clearly you can see that there's something there, like he trusts her kind of an idea. But I did find at the beginning she was a little bit, you know, I want to know, I should know kind of an idea. So yeah, so I did like it. So the book that I have been working on over the last couple days is The Flutterby Princess by Pamela Browning. This is a old Harlequin American romance. This is a throwback for the Retro Romance Readathon. And yeah, I'm enjoying this one. I'm a little bit over halfway done it. I'd like to finish it today. This is actually reading very quickly. There's some more reading sprints this afternoon I'm going to join in on, and I'd like to get this done, and then I'm going to call it for the week. And so there was a couple books I didn't get to. The one I did, DNF, the Armed Response, and I didn't get to the Vicky Delaney, the Elementary She Read, or the new Harlequin, or no, not the new Harlequin Intrigue. It was one of the series books. Books that I didn't get to. So that's okay. And I will start on next week's books, probably later today if I finish this, which usually the first one that I try and read now is the throwback book because they're the quickest and easiest. So I'll get that done, and then the vlog next week will start something new. So my plan is I'm actually not going to sign off on the vlog right now. I'm going to finish this first, and then I will pop back on and give you guys my full review of this, which is why I'm not talking about it a lot right now. So I will pop back on and talk about this one before I close out the vlog. I haven't even started editing this vlog yet, so I have absolutely 0 plans for tomorrow on Sunday, so I'll just edit it and post it tomorrow. But Garrett and I did run over to Walmart. We actually went for breakfast this morning, which was lovely. We were talking about going for, I mean, it's kind of Valentine's Day-ish weekend. A lot of people, I think, are going to be doing stuff like last night or tonight, as opposed to doing it like Tuesday, when Valentine's Day actually takes place. So we went out for breakfast this morning because we decided not to do anything spectacular for dinner. But then we went to Walmart and bought a couple things. He got himself some new t-shirts and I got a couple books. So I jokingly said to him, I'm like, oh, these are my Valentine's Day gifts. So I got the new Jill Shalvis, The Backup Plan. This I think is the fourth book. The fourth book in her series. Something, I can't remember the series name. Oh my, I haven't read any of this series yet. If it's the one that I am thinking of. This is the Sunrise Cove series, and I have not read any of these. So it's The Family You Make, The Friendship Pack. Oh, this is book 3, The Backup Plan. So the newest one will be out later this year, and I already have it on pre-order because it's Jill Shalvis. But I really do need to start this series, but it just looked so cute. Like, look at that cover, you guys. I absolutely love it. So yay on this one. And then they had this one. Now, both of these were 30% off, which is why I grabbed them. They had the new Tessa Bailey, which is Secretly Yours. And I've had this on hold at the library digitally. And it's like a 12 or 16 week wait or something. And I thought, shoot, for 30% off, I'm just going to go ahead and grab it. And I believe this is the first in a new series by her. No, it just says Secretly Yours, but I'm pretty sure it's part of a series. But I don't know what the name of the series is. So yeah, Tessa Bailey tends to write extra spicy, and I do really like her books. I did notice that the one that came out last year, the A Killer Vacation, they've redone the cover of it. So at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, a new Tessa Bailey. Then I'm like, oh no, wait, I read that book. Or My Killer Vacation, or whatever it was called. So this is the first. There's a couple. I think I've seen 3 books in this series. So yeah, I really like the cover of it. You know, the cartoon covers are a thing, but, you know, they're fun. So, yay, I'm looking forward to that one. But anyway, guys, like I said, I will pop back onto this vlog at some point before the end of the day to give you my full review for the Flutterby Princess. But I'm going to go and get some more reading done on it now, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody. Morning, friends. Happy Sunday. I am coming to you now with the final clip for this vlog. Usually I don't record a clip on a Sunday for the week's previous vlog, but I wanted to jump on. I had promised yesterday that I would come on and give you guys the review for the final book that I finished. And I didn't finish the book until like 10:30 last night, and I wasn't going to set up the camera and all that stuff. So good morning, here we are. I am here to share with you the review for The Flutterby Princess by Pamela Browning. So I finished this one about, like I said, about 10:30 last night. It was really, really cute. So, you know, I kind of have, I think I've showed you guys in one of the videos that I did for my reading spreadsheet, that I actually have like a list of questions that I ask myself when I finish a book, like what I think of the plot, what did I think of the characters, the setting, the writing, all those things. It's the Caw Pile, I believe is what it's called. There's another booktuber who put it together, and I altered it for my own purposes. So I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. This is a Harlequin American romance, and it is from 1987. So it's definitely, in a way, it shows its age in terms of a few things. But when I did like the list of you know, what I thought about the plot, what I thought about the characters and stuff like that, I mean, I liked it. This was I gave it 3.5 stars. It was a fine and average book. There were some things that kind of made me roll my eyes, or, you know, you got to take with a bit of a grain of salt. Again, 1987. So the whole plot of this story is about our main character named, what's her name? Nuala. I want to call her Nuala. And she is the daughter of some very well-known storytellers, and both of her parents were killed. And she is now a storyteller. So she kind of moves from place to place to place. And she goes to libraries and fairs and flea markets and stuff like that. And she kind of tells stories. Like, out of the back of her vehicle, she's got all these costumes and, you know, all these things. And she's a storyteller. And she has a bird. And so she's at this flea market one night, and there's going to be a storm coming. This takes place in north central Florida in a town called Turkey Trot, which I love. And she needs a place to stay for the night. She's been sleeping in her car, which is a hearse, by the way. So they're like, hey, there's this guest house, the Anthony something guest house. And, you know, you should go up there and stay there. So she shows up. It's a dark and stormy night. It's like thundering and lightning. And Will Anthony, who is our male lead, he owns the house. It was his great-grandfather's. And, you know, he kind of lets her decide to stay with him. Well, he's infatuated with her right from the beginning. And that's very plain to see in the book. So this is a bit of, I'd start with lust at first sight in the case of this story. And, you know, she does feel similar, but she knows that she's not here to stick around. She wants to move on, which is what she does. And he's kind of looking for forever, right? And, you know, he's kind of encouraging her to take these local jobs, like to work with the library for 4 weeks so she stays a bit longer and all these things. So there's also a ghost in this story, the ghost of the great-grandfather who haunts the house. And some of that, the writing in it was a little creepy. Like, I was reading it on Saturday night before bed, and it was getting a little bit creepy for me. So I did like it. Like I was saying, when I was putting my list together, I'm like, okay, the plot was pretty average, you know, the characters were like, okay, they were fine, you know, the storyline was good, you know, but my enjoyment level of this one was a 10 out of 10. I loved this. Like, you know, if I was just going to base it solely on my enjoyment, 100% 10 out of 10. Now, do I recommend that you run out and read this one? Not necessarily. If you it's not available digitally, so if you are in a thrift store or you have a couple extra bucks and you see it on Thrift Books or Abe Books or something like that, you're like, hey, in for a laugh, pick it up. There's nothing, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? There's nothing bad about it. It was just a book from 87. So, like, there's a scene where Will and this other older gentleman who they're friends with, who are standing in the kitchen watching her wax the floors and being like, you know, hey, you missed a spot kind of an idea, right? Which, I mean, and she's like, oh, you know, so she's the one who's teaching him how to cook. I mean, again, it's very 1987, you know, and nothing completely. Actually, the one thing I have to say is that I thought while reading this book that it was going to go in a direction that, so, you know, I know this has been talked about a lot, but this is a spoiler. So again, this is not a popular book. It's a book that's out of print. It's a book you're probably not going to read, but I do want to mention the fact that in the book, she is unable to have children. She actually had to have a full hysterectomy when she was younger due to issues and problems that she was having. So they didn't take this in the direction that they have taken these kind of books before, where I've seen it done, where, oh, magically, I mean, she had a hysterectomy, so there was no way, but where magically she's able to have kids. Like, towards the end of the book, they're talking about adopting, and I really, really liked that. So I do have to say that was probably, again, pushed my enjoyment level just up that much higher. So anyway, guys, that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this week's vlog. I am going to record my opening clip for next week's vlog, and so I'm not showing you what I'm currently reading. You'll have to stay tuned next week for that. But until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.